Let's start with this part. We just mentioned three of the divisions that they're going to separate into. The fourth one's TBD. What does that say about this move by Meta, the fact that the fourth division is to be determined?
I feel like that kind of reflects the mood inside of Meta right now, which is that he is going for something a little bit cheeky. They certainly could have given it just a code name, and I think that he wants to give Alexander and Nat, the two guys he is reportedly paying billions to come in and do this, some room to run. I also think they're separating it in part because it's got to be a little bit annoying if you've been working at Meta and you are a top AI research engineer to look at the new guys and say, oh, they're making 30 times more than me, and that means they're making billions.
All right. So you're putting on a pretty interesting analogy about everything that's going on in Meta right now. You're saying they're recruiting engineers like their NBA talent, and you're referring to the 96 Bulls, which is a stacked team, obviously Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. But I want to update your NBA reference a bit. In recent years, super teams just haven't worked out. Teams have assembled talent, and it just hasn't seemed to come together. Do you see the potential for something like that to happen, the more recent trend in the NBA? Or do you think this is a super team? We're looking at some of the people right now who are hired for exorbitant salaries from companies like Apple, Scale AI, et cetera. So which way do you see this all going?
I don't think anyone's the 96 Bulls. I think that there is a huge, huge chance that what they're going to have is a phenomena you're talking about, which is you get the three best players in the league, and it turns out that there's a lot of ego there. There's a lot of salary cap that went into them, and it's really hard to win championships because maybe they're not as motivated. So, Zuck has pulled crazy things off before, but I think this might look a little bit more like the metaverse days than the early days of Facebook in terms of the output here.
All right, so in recent years, months combined, whatever way you want to call it, we've seen a lot of different things come out of Meta, things like the Ray-Ban glasses, also, obviously the superintelligence labs. But remember, this is an ad business. So even though it's a tech company, it's starting to seem more and more like kind of like a conglomerate. And in recent years, we've all seen conglomerates kind of spin themselves off to get more value. So are there any questions about whether Meta trying to do all these things at the same time, including like monetize, WhatsApp, et cetera, that investors can't fully appreciate it?
I think that Meta's pretty well appreciated over the last couple of years. We've seen a massive run up in terms of the stock price. I personally wonder if they actually need as much AI. They're not ever going to need AI in the way that a Google does, where you say, hey, people are coming here to search all the knowledge of the world. We don't hear Zuck throw around the term everything app as much as his rival Musk does. But I do think there's a little bit of that idea here that honestly worries me a little bit. We've seen it work in Asia. We've seen it fail repeatedly in the US. And so I think that Facebook is well priced. The question is, where do they plan to go from here? And how expensive are each individual hires going to be? Is the richest man or woman in the world going to just be a Facebook software engineer soon?
That's an interesting idea, is that the richest person in the world might actually be working for a company with someone who has less money than they do. That's fascinating. Kind of button this up for us, Sarah. What do you make of all this, and how do we know if all this is successful? Is there a horizon in which we need to see something, I guess, tangible come out of Meta from all these hires and all these different moves and also CapEx investments?
So I really want to see the leaks. I really want to know what's going on in terms of the inside baseball and gossip, because I think that if this sort of reorg, if all of these new hires are integrated well and they are sort of welcomed into the culture and they're able to actually, figure out a plan, execute and get stuff done, this could be Zuck's biggest win yet. If it's sort of like a bad transplant and the body starts to reject the organ, I think it is going to be one of his more expensive boondoggles. And that includes the time he tried to have us all in a legless metaverse.